Hey, what's up, friends? It's James. Welcome back for another yoga class. So today I'm going to lead you through a 60-minute restore class where we're going to get things super chill, stretch out, and have a nice long Shavasana at the end. We'll start out in a cross-legged position, and if you've got a blanket or a bolster, you can grab it and just slide the front edge of your sit bones onto it. Otherwise, just have it down to the ground. To find the front edge of your sit bones, you can pull the flesh away or just kind of step back. And then just land your hands down into your knees or into your thighs. Push down, inhale, lift your shoulder heads up high. And on your exhale, just let the shoulder heads release down away from the ears and the back. And then relax the weight of your hands. Close your eyes. And I want you to feel that length in your spine. I want you to feel it from the sit bones all the way up through the back of the neck. And there is some effort to be found in that, but I also want you in this restore class to also feel that as you're holding this pose, you're able to rest in it. Take your air all the way down to empty. And then breathe into your low belly and your low back. Hold there. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Hold there. Breathe all the way to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Hold your full breath and relax. And then a slow exhale, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, breathe into your low belly, your low back. Hold there. Take your air to your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Pause there. Fill all the way to the chest, all the way to the shoulders. Hold your full breath. Relax. If you want, sip a little more air in. Top it up. And then just a slow exhale. Taking it from the top and releasing all the way down to the bottom. We'll move into Ujjayi breathing from here. So these are slow inhales through the nose, like you're sipping the air in through a straw, engaging the muscles in the back of the throat. And then slow exhales back out through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror, using those muscles in the back of the throat to now let it release out really slow. And as you work this breath, you'll start to hear the sound of hollow wind in your head. You're welcome, if there's another type of breathing you want to do for this restore class, to use that. Personally, I love to use this Ujjayi breathing inside of this deep stretching and this deep relaxing. Whatever you're choosing, when we are engaging our breath, we are starting to practice meditation. We are practicing mindfulness. Thankfully, breath is not something you have to remember to do. Your body automatically does it for it. But at any point in time that you want, you can step in and you can control the breath. So when you do so, you're starting to draw your mind into what's happening right here and right now with your own body. So as I like to say, let your breath be your guide for your practice, and then just take what works for me and leave the rest behind. Keeping those eyes closed, begin inhales where you sweep your arms out wide and reach up tall. And on exhales, press your palms together and just slowly draw the hands down into the heart center. And allow the breath just to guide the movement, to lead the movement. So you're just swimming your body slowly through space. Take one more of these from wherever you're at. And then the next time that your hands come to your heart center, just let your thumbs press back against your sternum. And as your hands are back against your chest, you might lightly feel the beat of the heart. Relax the hands. Just blink the eyes open to a soft gaze up front. And then reach and extend your right hand out to the side. You can have your fingertips, you can have your palm. Some might lean all the way down into the forearm. And as you reach into that, or press into the right hand rather, reach and extend your left arm up tall in space. And it's reaching all the way, arcing over to the top corner of that right wall. Check that you're not leaning too far over to the side. We want a little bit of a lift up through that inner right side body. And let your left sit bone gently press down into the ground as you reach those left fingertips up. Take the gaze and start to twist a little bit up in space as you're breathing, letting that left shoulder pull back, opening your chest slightly to the sky. And now we'll start to let the gaze turn down to the ground and allow that left arm to dip a little bit lower in space. So your chest starts to face down towards the ground. And you'll feel it change up the stretch in your back, change up the stretch through your arm. Go ahead and release the left fingertips all the way down. Walk both of your hands out a little bit from you. And then we'll just slowly walk the hands to center, but keep the distance of your hands to your body. And you're just going hand over hand, slowly walking to center. As you come back to center, you can let your palms relax to the ground or your fingers relax to the ground. You might let your head or torso just sway a little bit to the left or sway a little bit to the right. You might push or pull a little bit through the palms here. Walk the hands back in towards you. Lift up through your chest. Awesome, friends. We'll start to reach and extend the left hand down into the side, whether you're into your palm, your fingers, or down to your forearm. And then inhale, reach and extend that right arm up tall in space. And exhale, start to arch it over towards the top corner of that left wall. And again, we don't want to lean too far into that left hand. There is a lift through your left side body here. And your right sit bone can stay connected down to the ground as you extend your fingertips out. Start to twist your gaze up in space, letting your right shoulder draw back, opening through your chest. Beautiful breathing. And now start to turn your gaze down towards the ground. Your chest will face more to the ground. And then we'll allow that right arm to dip and get way deeper into that stretch. On your next exhale, just release the right fingertips down to the ground. Walk your left hand out a little bit. So both fingertips are down to the ground. You're leaning over towards the left. And then hand over hand, start to walk to center. Keeping the distance of your hands back to your body. And as you arrive at center, you can have your palms or your forearms down to the ground. Your sit bones stay connected, and you're just bowing your head here. Taking a couple rounds of breath. Inhales create space. And on the exhales, we release ourselves deeper into that space that we create. Get all the way down to the end of the breath that you're on. And then walk the hands back in towards the body, lifting the spine back up in space. At this point, we'll come out of our cross-legged position. So if you're on that blanket or that bolster, you can slide it out of the way. And then just reach and extend your legs out in front of you and just give a nice roll out through your ankles here, or pumping through your legs. Awesome. We'll move into some seated twists. So leave your left leg extended out in front of you. And then just grab your right leg and cradle the right leg across the chest. You can do this with your hands or with your elbows or with your forearms. Rather than your spine curling in and collapsing, as you do this, see if you can get some nice length up through the spine. Stay with that breathing. And then we'll plant the right foot to the outside of your left thigh. You can leave your left leg extended or bend your left knee so that your heel comes towards your right sit bone. The twist will take the body over to the right, so we're facing over to the right. You can wrap the left arm around the outside of that right leg, or you could bring your right hand to press against that right leg and drop your elbow, that left elbow, to the outside of the right leg. Once you've got your left arm in position, just reach your right hand back behind you. And then on an inhale, reach up nice and tall, facing the right wall. And as you exhale, twist from center and take the gaze back over your shoulder. Awesome, friends. And then when you breathe in really deep, you're going to have to work a little bit to get past that twist. But then when the exhale comes in, you take the space that you've brought in and then you release into it and your body twists a little bit deeper. So essentially, we're using the breath to massage the body out. And again, however much you are focusing on getting deep and really going into these poses, I also want you to bring in that softness, right? That relaxing and that releasing and that allowing. You stay right where you're at, or to stretch out the right side of your neck, start to just lean the left ear forward towards the left shoulder, feeling that length in the right side of the neck. And then you could lift your chin up in space to find the front right edge of the neck, or you can let the chin come more forward and down, finding the back right edge of the neck. Awesome, friends. Let's take an inhale just to reach the head up nice and tall, face over to the right. And then with the exhale, twist from center and go all the way, take your gaze all the way back over the right shoulder. Get all the way down to empty. And then you can release, uncross your legs, reach the legs out in front of you, and give another roll out through your ankles. Once you've brought a little bit of that blood flow, that circulation back into your legs, we're going to take this on the left side. So leave your left leg extended, or rather, take your right leg extended and then bring your left foot and cradle it in towards you. And again, you can use your hands, elbows, or your forearms. And as you cradle in towards you, rather than rounding through your back, see if you can lift up through your spine. And then with a little bit of warmth brought into that left hip, plant your left foot to the outside of your right thigh so your knee is up in space. Right leg stays extended, or bend the right knee so that you bring your heel to the outside of your left sit bone. We'll start to twist over to the left, either wrapping the right arm to the outside of the left leg, or you can bring the elbow to the outside of your knee. Left hand reaches back behind you, and then on your inhale, reach up nice and tall, lengthen through the spine, open through the chest, roll out through the shoulder heads. And as you exhale, twist from center and just send your gaze back across your shoulder. Hold your body in that twist and use your breath. And this is such a great time to check in with your body. Notice those areas where you need to stretch into, where you need to breathe into, those areas where it feels really good to get inside of these poses with. Okay, you stay right where you're at, or to stretch out the left side of your neck. Tilt your right ear forward towards the right shoulder, lengthening the left side of the neck. And then you can lift the chin up to get into the front edge, or let the chin come forward and down to get into the back edge. Nice work with that breath. Cool. So take an inhale just to lift up, face the left wall. And as you exhale, twist from center and take your gaze all the way back across the left shoulder towards the back of the room. And then from here, we'll release forward. You can just take your legs out in front of you. And again, just give that last little roll out through your ankles or just bending your knees one at a time. We'll move forward into tabletop. And you're welcome, if you are using a blanket, to take your blanket and spread it out and give your knees a little bit more cushioning. Once you've got your tabletop, start to work into cat and cow. If you know where you're going with this, please go right into it. If you're not familiar with cat and cow, cow is bowing your spine, so dropping your belly, lifting your chest and head. And then cat is an arch in the spine. So from there, letting the weight of the head relax, dropping the tailbone, mid-back pulls up high in space. I'm going to leave out specific breath cues because really this is an exploration with your breath. Maybe you're inhaling into one and then exhaling into the other. Or maybe you're holding it out for a round of breath or so before you move on to the next. The other thing that can feel so good here is to find moments where you're leaning forward or where you're leaning backwards or leaning to the left or leaning to the right. So again, just allowing that breath to be your guide for your practice. Okay, let's find a neutral flat back, hands and knees. Take your knees out a little bit wider towards the edges of your mat, and then leave your left hand rooted down to the ground. And on an inhale, reach your right arm up in space, twisting open towards the right side of the room, and give a roll out through your right wrist. Nice deep breath in, lengthen the right arm up, twist open, and on the exhale, thread the needle, so dive the right arm underneath the left. You'll reach the right hand towards the left side of the room, and then just relax the shoulder and the side of your head down to the ground. You want to have the hips up above the knees in space so that we've got the height of the hips that the spine can come down from, and as the spine comes down from it, it's pressing into your right arm, pressing into your head. Left hand could be anywhere at your side of the forearm resting, or I like to give a little press into the left hand so it presses me back towards the right shoulder. You could also take that left hand and tuck it back behind you to the outside of your right hip if you'd like. Awesome, friends. Dial in that breathing. Work with those inhales. Work with your exhales. And when the exhale part of the breath comes in, we already talked about it. That's where your body is opening. That's where the body is releasing. And sometimes there's tension you're holding that you're not even aware of. And that's why going through these poses, using this breath inside of these shapes, we get to get into areas that sometimes, you're not even aware that you needed to breathe into that spot in your back. But now that you're doing it, it feels really good. Last couple rounds of breath here. Get all the way down to the end of the breath that you're working with. And then just bring the left hand into the ground. Press into it. Inhale to peel the right arm from underneath. Reach and twist open in space. And as you exhale, come back down into your tabletop. Okay, we're just going to keep going through some cat and cow here. So again, working with your inhales, working with your exhales to bow and arch through the spine as it feels good to you. And then take the knees out just a little bit wider from a neutral flat back. This time, root into your right hand. And on an inhale, lift your left arm up tall in space and give it a roll out through your wrist. Nice. Breathe to lengthen up. And on your exhale, dive your left arm underneath the right for thread the needle. And once you got your shoulder down into the ground, you can have your right hand pressing into the side or your forearm, or you can tuck your right hand back behind you to the outside of your left hip. Allow the weight of your torso just to come down from the hips, and then the weight of it just to press down into your left arm and into the side of your head. As you reach your left fingertips to the right, you could also explore letting your left shoulder pull a little bit back to the left. Then finding those surrender moments where the exhale comes through and you just allow everything to release a little bit deeper down towards the ground. Find those last few rounds of breath. We got some time here, friends.
Awesome. Just allow yourself to get down at the end of the round of breath that you're on. Empty it out. And then the right palm will press down into the ground. On an inhale, peel your left arm from underneath. Reach and extend up tall in space. Breathe in. And as you exhale, come down into your tabletop. We'll just drop back into child's pose from here. So bring the big toes together. Take your knees out wide towards the edges of your mat. And allow your sit bones to come all the way back to your heels. Relax the forehead down to the ground and just lengthen your arms out in front of you. You could also tuck your arms at your sides if that feels good. And then just for a couple rounds of breath, walk your hands forward so you're on your fingertips. Elbows are off the ground. And then just your head might even be lifted off the ground a little bit. Give a press into your fingertips or into your palms or even into your forearms. And just press forward and let your sit bones get pushed back in space towards your heels so you feel your spine lengthen out. Breathe into that press, and on the exhale, fully relax the weight of your body here. Nice long inhales. And taking your time with that exhale. Just riding out these waves of breath. On an inhale, lift up out of child's pose. And then from here, we can take it back either into downward facing dog to give a nice stretch through the legs and the back. Or if you don't want to go into down dog, just from a tabletop, one at a time, I want you to press your legs back in space. And just feel a stretch through the legs. You're just pressing into the ball of the foot on the leg that's extended. If you are choosing to move into downward facing dog, you might just hover or come into a plank for a moment and then shift back into down dog. And the plank to down dog, it just gives you some nice information on the distance of your hands to your feet. Plank lines it up nice for down dog. Once you get into down dog, friends, you can spread into your palms, relax the weight of your head, and then start to slowly walk out through your legs. So let one heel drop down towards the ground as you bend through the opposite knee. Relax the weight of your head. Let your biceps tone into center line like you're pinning tennis balls between your ears and your biceps. Reach the hips back up away in space so the arms are lengthened. And then we're going to meet in a moment up at a forward fold at the top of the mat. So if you haven't just held down dog yet, let's take these last couple rounds of breath just to hold down dog. Extend the hips up nice and tall. Draw down through your heels. And then the way that we can get from down dog to our forward fold is baby steps on the balls of your feet. Just slowly walking up the top of your mat using your palms or your fingertips. If you're at the tabletop position, just go ahead and meet up in a forward fold at the top of the mat. Once we arrive, friends, take your hands to your shins and take a spinal extension. So as the spine reaches forward, this is a half lift. As the spine reaches forward, you're pressing into your shins, bending your knees a bit. You could also use your hands to your thighs. Gaze is down, crown of the head reaches forward, and then I want you to tone your shoulder blades in towards one another so that you're getting the strength of your core for your low back and then the shoulders for the upper spine. Breathe into this half lift, this spinal extension, and your next exhale, fold down. Let your fingertips release down to the ground and give your head a slow nod, yes. Stay with that breathing. And then a slow side to side nod, no. Letting the weight of your head just totally relax down. With the weight in your head, the weight in your arms, slowly vertebrae by vertebrae wind up to standing. Head will be the last thing that stacks up, and when the head stacks up, you can inhale to reach your arms all the way tall in space. Breathe in, and on the exhale, just bring your hands down into your heart center. Awesome. Inhale, reach and extend your arms up, press to the ground. This is mountain. And on your exhale, hinge out from your hips and take a swan dive down into a forward fold. As we come down to this forward fold, take a half lift on the inhale. Extend through the spine. Exhale, refold. And then walk your feet out a little bit wider than your hips. And grab a ragdoll frame with your arms where opposite hand is to the outside of opposite elbow or bicep. Release the weight of the head. And then start to slowly let your torso just sway side to side. Or lightly rock back and forth. Use those inhales, use those exhales. Weight of the head totally relaxed. Last couple rounds of breath here. And then just release your hands down to the ground. We'll come back into a tabletop position, and then we'll meet up on our bellies, flat down to the ground. So you can slide your legs back in space. Make sure your hips can comfortably relax into the floor. And then the first pose here is Sphinx Pose. So once you've got everything set up nice and comfortable, just slide your forearms out in front of you, and you want to have your shoulders just right over your elbows. Press down into your forearms, lift up through the head, find length through the back of the neck, and you'll feel a really nice stretch in your low back, all the way up through your spine really, and through your abdominal wall as well. But this one for me really targets that lumbar spine. So think of all the time that you spend seated, at the car or at your desk or at a table. And this is really nice just to get to stretch into that. If you'd like, just start to twist your gaze over across your left shoulder. Stay with that breath. And then take your gaze and twist across your right shoulder, balancing it out. Let the weight of your head gently fall forward. And then have a little bit of cat in your upper spine. Your chin might move a little bit side to side while you're here. And then eventually lay totally down to the ground, just like you're laying out at the beach on your stomach. You could bring your hands underneath your chin, have your forehead to the ground or one side of your head to the ground, but then pick your feet up in space, bending your knees, and start to just slowly roll out your ankles here. These are kind of windshield wiper circle motions. So awesome for your knee joints here, great for your low back, and you can get into your ankles and get into the feet as well. Awesome, friends. Lift back up onto your forearms. We'll move into shoulder pigeon, and this is going to be for your left shoulder. So shift your body over towards the right side of your mat. Bring your chest all the way down to the ground, and then reach your left arm to the left side of the room, palm face down. Press your right hand into the floor at your side, and then roll onto your left side body, and then just stack your right foot to the ground back behind your left leg. Your right hand or forearm can press or rest anywhere at your side, or you could bring your right hand back behind you in space. You want to let the weight of the head totally relax out here, and then have that left palm facing down towards the ground. You could also stack the right leg onto the left if that feels better, but I love just putting the right foot to the ground back behind the left leg and starting to kind of twist open through the body here. Another variation, if you want to go into it with me, is where you'll bend your right knee, bring the heel to the sit bone, and then reach the right hand to the top of the foot, just like a quadricep stretch. And then you can have a little bit of kick and pull between your foot and your leg to find some sweet spots through your quadricep. Beautiful stretch for your knee. And for that right hip. Stay with that breathing. If you've been in that quadricep stretch, it can feel nice just to release out of it for these last couple rounds of breath. Just taking the right foot back down to the ground behind your left leg. And then nice and slow, just roll onto your stomach. You can take that left arm out in front of you and just give a little bit of a stretch through it or roll out through your wrist. And then we're going to switch our sides out here. So it starts out really simple. All we need to do is just shift the body, slide it over towards the left side of the mat. Your stomach is down towards the ground. From there, reach your right arm to the right wall. Palm is face down. And then you'll press your left hand into the floor at your side and roll onto your right side body. You can plant the left foot to the ground right behind that right leg and let the weight of the head just relax. Left hand or forearm could be resting or pressing down into the ground, helping to open that left shoulder back over the right. Or that option where you reach the left arm and just tuck the back of the hand behind you, kind of right behind your low back. So if you want to move into this quadricep variation, just when you're ready for it, we would bend the left knee, bring the heel to the sit bone, and then reach the left hand back over the top of the foot and start to draw that left heel in towards the sit bone. Again, you can kind of have some kick of the foot against the hand and hand pulling back against the foot kind of play going on here. Just looking for that stretch in your quadricep. Getting that stretch into your knee. All the way up into your hip. And all the while in this shoulder pigeon with that right arm extended, just getting that nice opening for the shoulder, and on the front side, getting that opening for your chest. So if you've been in that quadricep stretch for the last couple rounds of breath, you can just release and let that left foot come back down to the ground. And as you wrap up the round of breath that you're on, just turn the weight back down onto your stomach. Press your hands to the ground. Lift up to your tabletop. And then we'll drop one of the hips to the ground and just swing the legs forward in space towards the front of the mat. If your arms or your legs just need a little bit of a rollout or just a little bit of loosening after that shoulder pigeon, this is a nice time to do it. We're going to get a bigger stretch going with the legs and with the arms with seated forward fold right here. So if you are using a strap, you want to take the strap and just drop it down already around the feet. Let it relax to the ground so the ends are coming in towards you. We're going to find some of the dorsal flexion in our feet where you're pushing the heels down and forward and flexing your toes back. And then walk your sit bones back in space so you're walking onto the front edge of your sit bones. I want you to leave a little bit of a bend in your knees so the knees are lifted a little bit up in space. And start to reach your arms up nice and tall. And this should feel like you're doing mountain. You're just doing it not from your feet to your hands, but from the sit bones up to your hands. You take that deep breath in, and on your exhale now, hinge forward and reach as far as you can. And you can connect the hands down to your feet if they reach there, or to your shins, to the ground, or if you have the strap, around the strap. We can start to, we can add more bend into the knees if we need to, or you can subtract the bend out of the knees, pressing the calves, pressing the hamstrings closer to the ground, or even taking the sit bones back a step. And then while we're going through this seated forward fold, obviously we're getting a big stretch on for the back of the legs and then for the spine as well. And it's the spine reaching forward in space out from the hips, so crown of the head reaching forward, gaze down, and then the spine folding. And you want to let the chest be the part that's leading the way folding, not necessarily the head, because the head will be able to go way lower than the chest. Think about the chest is just the one that's, is determining how far we're dropping down, how much we're bowing. beautiful breathing. Allowing the breath to help your body to open up here. Nice. Find those last couple rounds of breath. And then on an inhale, let go of the strapped feet. Inhale your arms up tall in space. Lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, just draw your hands down into your heart center. Slide your hips up. And then we'll take the rest of class down on the back. So just bringing your knees into your chest. Relaxing the weight of the head. And taking a little rock side to side here where you're massaging out your hips and your sacrum and your low back. And then cross your ankles, take the hands to the top of your kneecaps, and now start to make circles in space with your knees that then create these circles into the ground that involve the hips and the low back. You can move clockwise and counterclockwise, just intuitively switch it up as it feels right to you. Nice, still using that breathing. And then bring your left foot to the ground and cross your right ankle over the top of the left knee for reclined pigeon. This might be enough of a stretch with your left foot grounded for you. If you want to go deeper, lift the left foot off the ground and either interlace your hands around the left hamstring or around the left shin. So left arm wraps to the outside of the left leg and right hand goes into the gap we've created between the legs. Once you're there, you're pulling the knee in towards you with the head relaxed. Add that flexion into your right foot. Your heel is pointing to the left. Your toes are flexing back towards your shin. And you can let your right knee at this point gently flex forward, or you might feel nice at some point to bring your right hand and just give some gentle pressure forward. The other thing that can feel really lovely here is to have some side to side slow motion rocking going on. And just creating some nice opening for that right hip inside of this stretch. What I love with the rocking is at times I'll kind of lean to one side and suddenly I'll feel, a different part of the stretch opening up something different in my body. And so just using that side to side is another way that you can explore. Find some different angles that feel good. And then just relax your left foot to the ground. Uncross the right leg. Reach and extend your right leg all the way out in front of you. And draw your left knee up towards your left shoulder, just interlacing your hands around the shin. The legs on the outside of the rib cage. Take a deep breath in, fill up. And then when your exhale comes, squeeze that knee up towards your shoulder. Get nice and deep. For a spinal twist, your right hand will then pull the left knee down over to the right, roll onto the outside edge of your right hip, and then reach and extend your left arm out to the left. Take your gaze out across those left fingertips. Let that left shoulder relax close down to the ground. And just looking for how we can allow the body to release here. Let the body relax. Again, just that thought of surrendering into gravity, allowing yourself to melt a little closer towards the floor. Roll onto your back, draw the knees into the chest, wrap your arms around them, give yourself that side-to-side rock. And then bring the right foot to the floor and cross your left ankle over the top of that right knee. Again, this can feel great for the left hip just like this, or bring the right foot off the ground, interlace your hands around the shin or hamstring of the right leg. As you pull the right knee in towards you, we'll find the flexion in the left foot, toes back towards the shin, heel pointing to the right, and let your left knee gently flex forward towards the front of the room. Weight of the head stays relaxed, and then maybe just bring some of that side-to-side rocking in if you like that. Right on, friends. So bring the right foot to the ground, uncross your left leg, extend it out in front of you. Once it's flat to the floor, we'll draw the right knee up towards the right shoulder. You can just interlace your hands on top of that shin. The knee is to the outside of your rib cage. Take a deep breath in, fill up. And on your exhale, pull the right knee closer to the right shoulder, coming all the way down to empty. From there, for your spinal twist, left hand draws the right knee down over to the left, roll onto the outside edge of your left hip. Reach and extend your right arm to the right and take your gaze out over your fingertips. Let the right shoulder relax down towards the ground. And let that breath be your reminder of just about relaxing and letting go into this stretch.
can roll out of this, come onto the back.
Just take your last little rock side to side here, massaging out the hips and the sacrum. And then set yourself up for our final resting pose, our corpse posture, Shavasana. So if you have a blanket, you could spread the blanket out over your body. That can feel fantastic. You could also fold it up a little bit and put it back behind your head as a pillow. Or maybe you have something to cover your eyes with. And what you're looking for is just hitting that relaxed position where you can let the weight of the body relax out. So letting the weight of the feet just relax open. Feel the legs heavy to the ground. Hands are released out in front of you, the weight of the arms relaxed. Feel the shoulder heads just sinking back in space. Your hips and back relax down to the ground. If you notice any tension, any holding in your belly, just relaxing out through the belly. And then allowing the weight of the head just to be nice and heavy. The facial muscles to relax. Just feeling the eyelids close and the eyes resting. Feeling the cheekbones relax, the facial muscles released. The mouth and the jaw, the tongue, everything just relaxed, letting go. And noticing the weight of the body just resting down towards the ground. And the breath moving through the body.
So nice and slow, bring some life back into your body. To move through your fingers, your toes, deepen your breath. Reach and extend your arms all the way back overhead behind you. Full morning stretch. Roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists. And then turn the weight of your body onto your side into a fetal position. You can stretch out your arm just to relax your head onto as a pillow. Close through your eyes. And let your air come all the way down to empty. Take that slow inhale to your belly and back. To your mid-abdomen. To your chest and shoulders, filling all the way up. Holding and relaxing. And then finally exhaling to release all the way out to empty. Push your hands to the ground and bring yourself up to a cross-legged position or whatever pose you'd like to end our class with. Scoot yourself to the front edge of your sit bones. And on an inhale, extend your arms out wide and tall. And as you exhale, bring your palms together, hands down into your heart center. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether it is clear to you or not, no doubt the universe is unfolding exactly as it should. Friends, thank you for joining me for a beautiful Restore class. The light in me greets the light in you. Namaste. All right. Thanks so much. Please, if you would be so kind, hit like and subscribe. It helps out a ton. Feel free to share the video. If you'd like to make a donation for taking the class, I've got my Venmo ID in the description. And if not, no worries. This is my gift to you. I'm also leading a yoga retreat with my good friend Katie Shifkin. We're going to Costa Rica. This will be August 1st through the 7th, 2021. So if you want details, you can just head to my websites, oneloveyogapride.com. And beyond that, my friends, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. Much love. Oggi